All right, so before we can move on to problem solving, word problems, I have to make sure you know exactly what you're doing when it comes to solving these. So let's go through, make sure. Circumference, of course, is C equals, the pi is 3.14, and the D is labeled right here for you. D is 13 because it's all the way across, and that is just 13 times pi, which comes out to 40.82, and you must put the inches on it. So area, we got the one formula, let's fill it in. A equals pi, which is 3.14, times r, 2 r's. Well, we only have the D on our picture, so let's go back and label it. Remember, the radius is halfway across, so it could be at any point on this circle. So I'm going to label it, and 13 divided by 2 will get you the radius of 6.5 inches. So I'm going to go back, and 6.5 times 6.5, and we just multiply that out. When we multiply all three numbers out, we get an area equals 132.665, and that is square inches for that side. Okay, now that we have our solving down, let's figure out the problem solving. A circular swimming pool, okay, as soon as you see the word circular, you draw out your circle, was installed in Maggie's backyard. If the pool measures 16 feet from one edge all the way to the other, that means that is the diameter. So let's go ahead and label diameter of 16 feet. So it's there for us. Through the center, that just means it is the diameter. How much of Maggie's yard does the pool take up? How much of the yard does the pool take up? So it's talking about taking up space. And whenever space is involved, that is area. So we're looking for the area of this figure, because we're going to get square feet for our final answer, so we need to find the square. So we have our formula. Area equals 3.14. And the radius, let's go back and identify. Radius has to be from the center of the pool out to the edge. That means that is 16 divided by 2, which is 8. So let's label that 8 feet, and you must use that 8. So that is 8 times 8. That means the next line is just area equals 3.14 times 64. And you just multiply that out. And you get a final answer of area is 200.96 square feet will be taken up from Maggie's backyard to cover, that is covered by the pool. So if you think about in that real life, look down at the floor in class, that one tile is 1 square foot, so it would be 200 of those tiles, and that's how much space in the backyard it would take up. All right, so Fred is sewing fringe around, circle the word around, because that pretty much gives it away, around the bottom of a lampshade. How much fringe? Now fringe is that dangly stuff that dangles and supposedly makes it look pretty, and that is what they're talking about, going around this circle, the lampshade. It is circular and has a radius of 6. So anytime you see that, you know they're talking about circumference. So circumference is 2 pi r or pi d. In this case, we're going to use the radius of 6 inches. So this one's out. Let's go ahead and substitute in for our formula. C equals 2 times pi, which is 3.14, times r, which is 6. And y'all are all good at this one. Y'all are great at circumference. I'm just going to multiply the 2 times 6 first and get 12 times 3.14, which is on your cheat sheet. So your final answer is 37.68 plain old inches because it's just the measure of the material that would go around the bottom of the lampshade. So there's no little 2 that goes on there. Circumference. All right, so let's read the problem and figure out if it's circumference or area. So what we have is Benjamin is constructing a wood sign in the shape of an octagon. So it's a weird shape, 8 sides. If he needs the sign to fit inside, there it is, a circular frame that has a radius of 11. Let's go ahead and draw that out also. 11 inches, and that's the radius, or equals 11 inches, about how many square inches of wood would be needed. Okay, so it needs to fit inside, so that's a key. And it also, this is the biggest key of all, it's square inches. They want to know how many square inches, so your final answer needs to have a little 2 on it. So that means you have to find area. And that is the biggest key words. As soon as you see square inches, you know you're looking for area. That's why we're very picky on that little 2. So let's go ahead and solve. Area equals 3.14. In this case, we know the radius is 11 times itself. And when you multiply the 3 numbers out, you get a final answer of 379.94. And of course, we got to get those square inches because that's how much space that sign is going to take up. That's how much wood is needed to make it. Okay, so Mr. Lake needs to rope off a circular space for his class to excavate dirt. If the space needs to be 18 feet wide, okay, so we got that wide all the way across. There's my diameter. How much rope will the science teacher need? Now we got to think about it. What exactly is the rope going to be needed for? Is it going to be needed for the inside of the circle or around the circle? In this case, he is roping it off. So that is circumference. We're going around the circle. We're roping. How much rope is it going to take? So it is just a distance. So your 2 formulas, C equals 2 pi r or pi d. In this case, we've already labeled the d for the diameter, so this one is out. So we just have C equals 3.14 for pi, and the diameter is 18. So your final answer is just multiplying the 2 together, and you get 56.52, and that is just plain old feet because it's roping it off around the edge. Okay, Ulises' trampoline has a radius of 3 feet. So let's label the R right there before we forget that is R for radius. How long will the trampoline net be? There's one question. And how much space? Oh, that gives it away. Space will the trampoline take up? When we know space is area. Area equals pi r squared. Now for the first part of the question, how long will the net be? Well, I know the net connects around the edge of this trampoline using poles. So around the edge means they're running circumference. So C equals 2 pi r. We're using that one because they gave us the r. So now we got 2 answers, just like our quiz. Let's fill it in. C equals 2, don't forget the 2, times 3.14 times 3. 2 times 3 is 6, and that's on your cheat sheet. So the circumference around this thing to where how long the net's going to be is 18.84 plain old feet. On the other side, we have to solve for the area because it's how much space this thing is going to take up. So this is going to be covering part of the yard, covering. So area equals 3.14, and that is the radius, which is 3, times itself. So 3 times 3, that is just 3.14 times 9 on your cheat sheet. So you get a final answer of area equals 28.26 and that's square feet. So it's about 28 and a little piece of these squares that are at your feet right now in the classroom. Okay, exit question, make sure you understand this. What is the difference between distance and space in reference to circles? Remember, we've only done two things with circles, circumference or area. So write out in words the difference between the key words of distance and space. When you are finished, let me see your work, and then you may start your homework. Good luck.